On September 26, 1983, the world came within minutes of ending. Not by accident, not by nature, but by a decision made in a single Soviet military bunker. One man stood between peace and nuclear war. His name was Stanislav Petrov. And this is the true story of how he quietly saved humanity by doing nothing. The early 1980s were the most dangerous years of the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a deadly arms race. Each side had built enough nuclear weapons to destroy the planet many times over. Trust was gone, fear was everywhere. In Washington, President Ronald Reagan called the Soviet Union the evil empire. In Moscow, Soviet leaders warned that America was preparing for a surprise attack. The atmosphere was electric with paranoia. Both sides relied heavily on satellites and radar, always watching the skies, waiting for the other to make the first move. The policy was simple. If one side launched, the other side would launch back immediately. This was called mutually assured destruction. It meant that if a war ever started, no one would survive. And in this tense environment, one officer, Stanislav Petrov, was about to face the most impossible decision of his life. Stanislav Petrov wasn't a politician nor a famous general. He was a lieutenant colonel in the Soviet Air Defense Forces. Born in 1939, he grew up during the Second World War, a child surrounded by fear and destruction. He joined the military, trained in engineering, and rose through the ranks as a quiet, intelligent officer. Colleagues described him as calm under pressure, a man who thought before he acted. But even he could not imagine that one day, the fate of the entire world would rest on his shoulders. On the night of September 25, 1983, Petrov reported for duty at a secret command center near Moscow. His job was simple: monitor the satellite system for signs of an American nuclear launch. If missiles were detected, he had one duty: report immediately to his superiors. They would then decide whether to launch a counterattack. The shift was quiet at first. Petrov sat in the dimly lit control room, surrounded by blinking lights and computer screens. Dozens of other officers worked beside him, the air thick with cigarette smoke and silence. Then just after midnight, the room exploded in chaos. A deafening alarm blared. Red lights flashed across the monitors. The system had detected something horrifying: a nuclear missile, launched from the United States, heading straight for the Soviet Union. Soldiers leapt from their chairs, shouting, panicking. The screen displayed one glowing missile icon streaking toward Soviet territory. Petrov's mind raced. Could this be real? Could America have actually fired? Before he could answer, the alarm blared again. Now the screen showed 5 incoming missiles, 5 nuclear weapons, enough to wipe out millions of lives. The procedure was clear. Petrov was required to pick up the phone and report. Attack confirmed. Within minutes, the Soviet High Command would order a counterstrike. Hundreds of missiles would be launched at the United States and its allies. The world would end before sunrise, but something didn't add up. Petrov's training told him that if America ever launched an attack, it would not be just 5 missiles. It would be hundreds, maybe thousands. This seemed too small, too strange. Sweat dripped down his face. The room fell silent, all eyes locked on him. Every second felt like a lifetime. One wrong choice and billions of people would die. His instincts screamed that it was a false alarm. But what if he was wrong? What if at that very moment American warheads were already flying toward Moscow? In that unbearable silence, Stanislav Petrov made his decision. He put down the phone. He refused to confirm the attack. Minutes crawled by like hours. The glowing missile icons moved closer and closer across the screen. Every heartbeat felt like an explosion in his chest. Officers whispered in terror. Some begged him to report it. But Petrov sat still, staring, waiting. Finally, the missiles disappeared from the radar. No explosions, no war. The system had been wrong. It was a false alarm, caused by sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds. Petrov had been right. By doing nothing, he had saved the entire world. But his act of heroism did not bring praise. In fact, it brought suspicion. He had broken protocol, disobeyed orders. His superiors quietly investigated the incident. Petrov was neither punished nor rewarded. His career stalled. He retired a few years later, forgotten by history. For decades, the world never knew how close it had come to destruction. Only after the fall of the Soviet Union did the truth slowly emerge. By then, Petrov was living quietly in Russia, struggling financially, caring for his sick wife. Next post for part 2.